With all these ICE raids and anti-ICE protests, someone is going to get very seriously hurt, but it's probably not going to be the feds. As in San Francisco, masked ICE agents are making an arrest, while masked citizens try to stop them. Now, obviously, they couldn't successfully stop this arrest, but for some reason, they thought they could stop the Fed's vehicle from leaving, eventually climbing on top of their van. And when they finally sped off, one of them fell off the side, with another still clinging on the hood, with local posts in the San Francisco Reddit calling it an ICE abduction from several camera angles, even titling it ICE running over a group of people, with only one response saying, literally no one got run over, but replies from Redditors with access to the same series of videos saying, no, they did. So just remember, whenever you're arguing with anybody online, there's a good chance they can literally be given several videos all showing the same exact scene, but then they'll believe the headline that most aligns with their talking points over evidence they can literally see with their own eyes. The scary part being, this isn't just idiots interacting with bots in an echo chamber, this is an echo chamber of bots activating real-life idiots. As someone could have been injured, but Reddit is actually applauding the people blocking the car, saying kidnapping should be met with resistance. There isn't enough resistance. San Francisco should resist ICE as they outnumber them. And insanely, but becoming a common theme, is encouraging white people to the front lines, as it really seems they're following orders from Reddit, as this is a separate instance in San Francisco where they're doing exactly as requested. Now one, this is incredibly dangerous for everybody involved, from the feds to the activists to even the average resident just crossing the street while the police are forced to speed away. And two, as we have countless examples of these so-called protesters with nothing better to do on a weekday afternoon have never actually impacted the feds' ability to enforce the law. But sadly, I don't think it's actually about stopping a single arrest. I think they're just trying to make a martyr, as an ICE equivalent of BLM. As every activist is doing this behind their cell phone to post on social media, shaming them, creating a more chaotic situation,
Shame! What is wrong with you? Shame! Shame!
and then applying captions like ICE arresting a girl having a seizure, where I won't play the video here, but most everybody online didn't think this was actually what they claimed. And just like those original Reddit posts, it's not about sharing what's happening, it's about creating a narrative to make the masses as emotional as possible, as for whatever reason they believe our legal system should be decided by whoever can paint the saddest scene. As in the San Francisco subreddit about that second Fed van they tried to stop, they titled it, ICE van used to detain a person who showed up for immigration court, with the replies reiterating ICE is abducting people simply showing up to court. As the top commenters are saying, they're trying to do the right thing, but this disincentivizes them, so Trump is a fascist. With only one lowly post stating, why are you always conveniently omitting the verdict from their case? Is it possible they received their due process but resulted in deportation orders? As that's what they all seem to not understand. For far too long in sanctuary cities, people could lose their immigration cases, but for some reason just be let back into the community. Unlike in criminal court, as soon as you lose your case, you're immediately sent to jail, not creating the unnecessary risk of releasing and rearresting them somewhere in the community. But as the ICE director states, this dangerous scenario is by the Democrats' design.
Sanctuary cities. If they don't let us arrest a bad guy in the county jail, they're going to arrest him in the community. We're going to arrest them at a work site. So we're going to increase community operation. We're going to increase worksite enforcement operation. We're going to get the bad guys. So if they don't want to help, get out of the way. We're coming to do it.
So they're angry when they make worksite arrests. They're angry when they make arrests outside the courthouse. And as Freedom News shows us, they're angry when they make arrests inside the courthouse. again proving that the only thing that would satisfy their side is completely ignoring the law. But unfortunately for them, in the world of democracy, the majority of Americans voted and still support the deportation of every single individual illegally here. The scary part being is with this rhetoric of kidnapping and masked secret fascist police, the fringe minority is on the attack, as they're actually out there disturbing hotels that ICE agents are allegedly at, putting their pathetic parenting on display, teaching their kids to attack feds, and then in Los Angeles, actually attacking their vehicles with improvised spike strips and now facing federal prison time. These idiots are about to get a civics lesson at the worst possible time, as of course liberal DAs in deep blue Los Angeles have tolerated this stuff in the last several riots, but it's a completely different situation facing a federal judge with a federal prison sentence. But the most insane aspect about this is they were arrested with this CHI-RLA bag, and Mayor Karen Bass just posted this speech about pulling together this group.
The fact that there's so many people behind me, and by the way, this was pulled together in a very, very short amount of time, I think is an example of the urgency and the outrage that we all feel.
Standing in front of a guy also wearing a CHI-RLA hat. It's almost like they're acting exactly as ordered as pretty much their paramilitary branch, as Bass has agreed to the kidnapping rhetoric.
I can be dressed as a cop
Exactly.
and just go kidnap you.
Other Democrats parrot the same talking points.
You send the U.S. Marines into spaces they should not be. You send the National Guard in. You kidnap people off of the streets and pretend that's normal.
Also pushing this narrative of terror.
In the masked, secret police that are terrorizing our communities.
As California's saddest sobbing senator also says they're terrorizing the kids. And at face value, if for whatever reason you forgot everything they said during the lockdowns or about the shots, you just believe everything that political party tells you, you would probably be pretty terrified and might actually act upon what they claim is happening to your community, as it's no accident that the Democrats are using this specific rhetoric, as since 2016 they've shrieked over Trump dog whistling his base into extreme actions, but now it's their people that are listening and reacting exactly how you'd expect. As in Texas, they're trying to ambush ICE.
With at least 10 people all dressed in what investigators describe as black military-style clothing, shooting fireworks at the Prairie Detention Center. Around 10 minutes later, one or two of them broke off from the main group and began spray painting the facility and vehicles parked there with words like traitor and other slogans. A police officer arrived responding to a 911 call, and at that point, one of the group, who had apparently hidden in trees near the facility, opened fire, hitting the officer in the neck, while another attacker, also across the street, fired dozens of rounds at officers from the facility.
Not to be mistaken with the other instance.
Video shows a door officers say was hit during the exchange. Border Patrol and local police say they returned fire, killing that man. Reports say he was carrying multiple weapons, including an assault rifle.
A couple of Border Patrol officers were injured, according to the authorities. One McAllen police officer who was involved got shot in the knee.
Even if you're keeping up with recent events, you very easily could have mistaken that first ICE attack in Texas with a second attack in Texas that occurred a couple days after. But you won't see a single Democrat denounce what those individuals did. But it only gets worse, as at least one of them was one of Biden's newcomers.
We are now reporting the guy who was arrested in the Alvarado, Texas incident for tampering with the evidence was a green card recipient under the Biden administration and a prior DACA recipient. What do you think of that?
It's very sad. It's very bad. 21 million people came in. Many of them are criminals. Many of them are murderers. 11,888 is what they say.
So in their effort to stop federal law enforcement, they're only reminding the public how necessary this is. And now, ICE is only going to double or triple down their efforts in sanctuary cities. The American public is shoving more support for ICE, and the left has 14 people facing federal prison, and another one is gone, accomplishing absolutely nothing. All in an effort to placate idiots that know less than nothing. As remember, these protests started in San Diego, where the city rose up against the feds, arresting a wanted criminal, and then a week later they destroyed their entire city in Los Angeles over what was initially a Fed investigation into money laundering. But now they're freaking out over on Reddit, saying ICE got $150 billion with serious skull cracking in mind, as others are actually afraid that US citizens are going to be deported to a concentration camp, as they're likely referring to Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. Oh no, that was Obama's holding facility. This is Alligator Alcatraz, that if anything has more amenities. But no, they're now claiming Trump is sending them to be eaten by elephant-sized mosquitoes.
Liam Izquierdo on the phone describing what it's like inside the so-called Alligator Alcatraz. Says he's been at the detention facility out in the Everglades since Friday. The mosquitoes, he says, are the size of elephants.
And again, if you took this at face value, this would be absurdly cruel. But just like everything else, they're simply just hoping you're stupid enough to believe it.
Él es residente permanente, sí.
Izquierdo's partner, Katia, says he's a permanent resident who was arrested last week.
Good morning, sir. You speak English?
No.
You're charged with aggravated assault with deadly weapon and battery.
The police report says it all has to do with a violent dispute with a tow company worker who was trying to repossess a jet ski.
As Reddit would make you think US citizens are at risk of being sent there, when this guy was only sent there after violently attacking a repo guy. So if anything, his story on the news, told in Spanish, is just an advertisement for self-deportation, as instead of seeing elephant-sized mosquitoes, he could have simply scheduled his flight home and received $1,000. Every single time they try to villainize Trump or his popular immigration policies, they just remind the public, it's not only necessary, it's working. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to Decoy Voice.